just how ragged you can get run if you're going to go do a comedy show here and then there and then there, and you're just living out of a suitcase, and then you got to say this, you got to be on.
Yep.
I mean, it takes a toll.
Yeah.
When I go direct, I mean, if I go on a 6-month, which I'm about to, a 6-month, 7-month run of directing every single day, where I have to make decisions from 6 a.m. until 9 o'clock at night, and then I got to watch footage till midnight. I get 3-4 hours of sleep a night for 6 months. I'm a wreck.
Well, you were
after 6
telling
months.
me about season 3 of Yellowstone that you essentially wrote it on Saturdays.
Yeah, I was directing a movie with Angelina Jolie in New Mexico, and they had a start date that by God they were going to start. Didn't matter, they didn't have scripts. They were going to start, and I had to, we would do a night shoot Friday night. I'd finish about 7 in the morning, and I'd come home and sleep till 2 and wake up and have coffee and write the script Saturday till 1, 2 in the morning. Wake up Sunday, do it again, finish the script, send it off.
Oh my God!
I did it 10 episodes. I did it 10 weeks in a row. Killed me.
How do you keep your brain active during that time? Are you careful about what you eat? Are you drinking a lot of water?
Very.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
I would imagine like your body's on the edge.
I'm very, very conscious of what I eat. I try to be pretty conscious anyway, but I'm a freak when we're directing.
Do you take any nootropics or anything like that?
So I take a big mix of different things. I take methyl factors. I take NMN, and I'll do like a thiamycin alpha, which is a peptide that's an anti-inflammatory for your body. And I'm just really rigid. I do a B12 shot every other day on set. Just anything that I can do to keep me alert and because you'll get what they call the movie flu, where you just get run down. The hours are, it's 14, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
And
you have deadlines and you have a budget and you have to do it that way.
I mean, the budget, we have a budget, but you've seen my shows. They let me run. So I have
the CGI in 1883. I was like, this is insane. Because I don't want to give anything away, but there's a scene with a storm where you're like, oh my God, like you can do some wild shit today.
Well, the other thing is, yes, but the other thing is, I waited till a day with 60-mile-an-hour winds to shoot that.
Oh, perfect.
I let God do a lot of the CGI.
Nice.
They're like, there's a terrible storm coming in, and I said,
go.
Let's swip the schedule.
Yeah, because there's no way you could ever have done that with their hair and all the things flying around.
Yeah. It was.
It's a great show.
How about that ending?
It was rough. Like I was just walking around my house for like 2 hours afterwards.
And the funny thing is, I told the audience what was going to happen in the first scene.
Yeah, I know that was a wild thing you did. Yeah, it's like you're waiting for it throughout all the episodes. There's only 10, so you're like, how does this go down? It definitely added a layer of anticipation. It's brilliant, man. It really is. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen.
And I shot 70% of it, 80% of it at the 4 Sixes.
How is Tim McGraw and Faith Hill so good?
That's crazy, isn't it?
How are they so good at acting?
Well, let me tell you what. Every singer can act, just like every comedian can act.
Dude, he's incredible.
Did you ever see him in Friday Night Lights, the movie?
No.
That film and I know Pete Berg came on the show with you here. Pete was a big mentor of mine, and that to me is a perfect sports film. It's fun. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to see that movie. It's Billy Bob Thornton, and Tim McGraw plays this abusive dad in it, and it is. I mean, he's raw, but he's the well runs deep with that guy.
Well, you could tell in that movie, man, or in your show rather, you just 100% buy that he is a stone cold killer.
Yeah, and Faith, she hadn't acted before.
Incredible.
We were just hoping.
Incredible.
And she brought it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But also, it has to help that they're a real life married couple. There's real, there's like layers of chemistry when they're on the set together.
And the subtext and it was.
And the heavy moments, I don't want to give anything away, but some of the heavy moments between the two of them, you're like, oh my God, imagine dealing with that.
It's insanity.
It's heavy, dude. It's a heavy show, but it's really good. And I think it's a really important thing for people to be aware of, that's a pretty, it's obviously fiction, but it's a pretty accurate representation of how it went down.
Yeah, I mean, the circumstances are imaginary, but the tools and the things, I mean, that's how they died and that's how they lived.
Yeah. When you look back at all the civilizations that have existed, that have risen and fallen, and and the idea that that's happening to America now, like this is what's happened on this continent over the last 400 years is one of the most insane stories